In the last video, we talked about the value of having a consistent study space, one location from which you're able to do all of your homework, all of your readings, anything related to school. And I stand by that advice, but I also recognize that sometimes life or circumstances just don't allow for that. Maybe you live in a really small apartment and there's just not room for you to have your own designated study area. Or maybe you have young kids and you can't just hide away for 2 hours and hope that they don't get into trouble. Maybe you live somewhere where there isn't very good Wi-Fi, or you only have one computer for your entire household. So I get that sometimes that one study space just isn't doable. In cases like these, doing school from home is going to require some flexibility and creativity, and I know there's no one-size-fits-all solution, but if you can build some routines around the when and the where of your studying, it is going to help you in the long run approach those studies with a lot more focus. So, here are some suggestions. As much as you're able, still try to find some consistency about where you're doing your schoolwork. I get that you might not be able to do everything in one location, but come up with patterns. Maybe you do your homework during the day in the kitchen because you need to keep an eye on the kids. But maybe in the evening when your spouse is around, you can go off to the bedroom and have some quiet where you're able to actually pay attention to your class. Also, set expectations with your family members, with your spouse, your parents, your kids, if they're old enough to understand that there's just going to be times throughout the semester and even just throughout the day-to-day that you're not going to be as available, that you need to focus on whatever it is you need to do for your assignments or your readings. If your schedule allows, try to save some of the more focus-intensive pieces of your learning, writing your papers, doing an important reading, for times when it is quieter around the house, when the kids are in bed or where everyone's off to soccer practice or something like that. Or go somewhere that is quieter, like a library or a coffee shop if they're open. But find ways to do that really important work when it's quieter. And if all else fails, consider headphones. Even if you're not somebody who likes to have music in the background, simply having them in is going to be a signal to the people around you that you can't be distracted right now. It's not foolproof. I know that kids are always going to want attention, but it's a start to making sure that you're able to get the focus that you need. The key, however, is finding a pattern that works for you. And because I don't know your circumstances, I don't know what's going on in your life. But if you can find certain habits or rhythms that work for you and your circumstances, it's going to go a long way for helping you to complete your work efficiently.